are you doing undressing, little goofball? Get your little butt back in there. Hey guys, Tish from Python Spawn. We're going back to top 10 lists, guys. Top 10 most essential things in your reptile room, part 2. Come on in. Alright guys, what's up? Welcome back. Welcome back. So this week we have a part 2 to our top 10 important things you need in your reptile room. But before we get into that video, sticker swaps. All the way from England, which is really cool. All the way from England. We've got, yes, I pre-opened all of these. We've got new Forest Morphs. Really freaking cool. That one's going right up there. Very cool. Thank you so much, new Forest Morphs. Awesome logo. And next sticker swap is AZBalling Pythons. Well, that's pretty cool. Tish, I'm happy to have reached out. Congratulations on your YouTube channel. I love the material. Please enjoy the stickers and thank you again for agreeing on the sticker swap. Have an excellent breeding season. I'm terrible with names. I am sorry again. Mario? M-A-U-R-O? Mario Rodriguez. I think it's Mario. I'm terrible with... Did I mention I was terrible? Terrible with names. Cool logo. Pretty cool. I love the material. It's like shiny. Alright. Let's move on to the list. Number 10. 1 second. Hacha! There we go. Label maker, guys. Label maker. You know what's funny? I even labeled the label maker. Because I'm a dork. So I use labels for everything. I use them for this. I use them for all of my racks. I use them for literally everything. I even have labels on here, but it's a different type of label. We'll get to that sometime in the future in another video, because that's a must for rats. Because that's gonna be the next list. Must-haves for rat production. Yeah, that's gonna be another one. So the label maker, super good. Dymo, great brand. I know there's a fly. Yes, it's a fly. It's because the door is open. I love this brand. The tape, the replacement tape is super easy to change, and it's actually really cheap on Amazon. So I'll put a link below on this. I think it's a must-have for anybody's collection. Number 10. Number 9. What did I do with number 9? Oh yeah, this is number 9. So number 9 is a storage box. So it could be like a table. It can be like I do have a toolbox. I love my toolbox. It's obviously my table for whenever I do videos. It's also my table when I do my egg cuttings. It's also my table when I weigh things. It's like everything. I just love my box. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a box. It can be a locker. Like I have a lot of storage because it's a small area. I need a lot of storage. So I keep all of my essential things in there. I keep all of my breeding things in here, and a few items. Actually, almost every single item on the list today, I keep in here. Almost all of them. So I think this is really important to keep your room organized, to have somewhere to do whatever you need to do. It's very convenient. And I did work with another type of box before. It wasn't the best box. It was a plastic box, and it just had drawers in it, and you couldn't really put anything on top of it. This is mobile, it's on wheels, I can move it, I can turn it. I love my box, and that's why it's number 9. Did I really just say I love my box? Like, really, Vinny, you couldn't have told me not to say that? I didn't think about it until after. That's embarrassing. Oh, that's not good. Okay, sorry kids. Number 8. Number 8. Number 8. You know why I'm saying it so much? Because it actually should have been lower on the list, but it took me forever to get. An exhaust fan. Yes, guys, an exhaust fan. It is literally a life changer. Before, because I have the rodents, now this is a big thing for if you have rodents in the same room as your reptiles. By the way, I don't like actually advise that because it's terrible. 2 separate sections. But if you do have them in the same area, exhaust fan. It, like, the smell since I put that down has gone down dramatically. I don't come in here after 4 days after cleaning my bins and my eyes kind of burn sometimes because of the ammonia. But it's dramatically better. Exhaust fan. I actually have it on a timer, and it goes on 12 hours, shuts off 12 hours, goes on 12 hours, shuts off. So at night, it actually turns off. And then during the day, 7 to 7, it turns on. Probably one of the best purchases, and it was actually pretty cheap. Amazon, actually, Sal from Gomez Pythons told me which one to get. Perfect. Love it. It is the best thing I've purchased, and I think that's probably the top 10. No, this is a top 10. Probably up there. It's like number 3 most important thing in this room right now, but I just got it, so that's why it's on this list. So, exhaust fan, number 8. Must have if you have rodents. Exhaust fan. Number 7. So I'm not going to actually show you where my number 7 is, but number 7 is a camera in your area. I'm going to tell you guys a funny story. So I mean a Wi-Fi camera where you can sync in and look at your snake area, your reptile room, your rodent room. The reason I say this is because it's a game changer for me personally. So I actually have a ring. I have several in this room in different directions now. So for this small little area, I can see every point in this room. And I can see it in display, like I was gonna say something. Okay, never mind. So I have it in 3 areas of this room, and they're all on motion sensors. So if something moves, I get a notification. And most people think I get it for like burglary and all that, which I guess would be good. Like if anybody came in here, I'll know right away. But no, you know what happened to me? It was 4 in the morning. Nothing should be going off in this room. And I get notifications, pop, pop, pop. Notifications, like crazy, every 5 seconds. I'm like, what the heck is going on in there? I go in while I'm still in bed, and I look through into my camera, and there are ASFs everywhere. And I mean everywhere. They got out, they chewed their way out of their container when they were still in the old racks, and they were just walking around, and my ring is just going off. So I got up, tried to get as many as I could at 4 in the morning, and then the rest I had to catch manually because I didn't want to, you know, try to figure that out at 4 in the morning. And I think it's one of the best purchases I've ever done as well. Cameras, must have, to make sure everything is okay in your rodent room or your reptile room, to make sure there are no burglaries, nobody's breaking in, nobody's doing anything they're not supposed to be doing. Even as simple as seeing if my AC is on, which, by the way, I also have on a smart device, so don't really need that too, because I can turn it on and off. We'll get to that part. And then, just for your sanity, so if you're away and you want to check on everybody that's in the room, I think it's a great idea to get a camera. So that's why it's number 7. Okay, guys, number 6. Smart device that can turn things on and off, aka smart controller, I guess. So I use this for many things. I use it to turn on and off my exhaust fan, my AC, and both of my bearded dragon enclosures. So they're all on timers. Like I said before, my exhaust fan has a 12-hour timer. It turns off, it's on 12 hours and off to 12 hours. This turns off and on whenever it gets to 79, 80 degrees. But I can turn it off manually if it's too, turn it on manually if it's too hot. If something goes wrong, for whatever the case, if something goes wrong, I can turn it off. And the bearded dragons also have a 12 to 14 hour timer. So the female in here has a 14-hour, and the boy in there has a 12-hour timer. So it's really important, especially if you're like me, and I can't ever remember this stuff. So that's why I've always focused on timers, and it just made it that much easier that I had it at the palm of my hand whenever I needed to turn it on and off. Even if you don't want to set it and you could just do it before bed and you just remember, that's great too. But it's nice to be able to do it on your phone. So smart timer, I use Wise. I never really figure out how to say it, but it's a great little device, Wi-Fi enabled. It's very small. You plug it in, then you plug whatever device into that, and that's it. It's super easy. Takes like a good 15 minutes to set up. Really easy, really handy, and I highly recommend it. Pretty cool. The next thing is number 5. Number 5 is pretty much Substrate. I use Coco block or Coco chip, and I use liners. Here are a couple sizes. I love these liners, CMC liners. Really good liners. I literally use them for all of my males, all of my hatchlings, and my adult breeders after they lay. When they're laying, my adult breeders are on Coco chip, which is why I said I use both. So my females are the only ones that really get the Coco chip, and that's just because I don't like my females laying on paper. And I like them to actually nest. It helps me figure out when they're gonna lay. Obviously they can't move this around, they can't nest really. So I let them have the Coco chip. I really like the Coco chip when they're about to lay. But liners are amazing. Love them. Some of them even go to, this is the FB10. So they go around the water bowl. They fold up easily. Sorry, wrong way. They come in all sizes. You literally just fold it up and you set it inside of the bin, just like that, and it'll go over. They even have them for hatchlings. They have them for these type. I mean, they have them for everything. I have them for my 70 series, my 40 series, the 70 without the cup holders, the 40 without the cup holders. Like, I absolutely love these liners. I love Coco chip too, and I don't really have to show Coco chip because everybody knows what Coco chip is. I don't have any specific brand for Coco chip. I go through pretty much any one that I can get. I used to do like which one's better, but they're all pretty much the same. They all hold the best humidity, really good humidity, and I prefer them for my breeding females. But other than that, I love my liners. So that's why they're number 6 or 5. What are we on? 5. All right, guys. Number 4. Temp Gun. Amazing little device. So I use this for many things. I use it to spot check temperatures inside of the enclosures. I make sure that the temperatures are right. If I'm going to soak an animal, you don't want to put them in 100. Something that seems like it's lukewarm to us is not to them. So having the Temp Gun to make sure the temperature is good for the water before you soak them or you give the babies a bath. You don't want to shock their system. Definitely for hot spots and cool spots inside of each bin. Temp Gun would have been number 1 if I didn't have so many devices controlling everything. This is my security device, so I always double check with this, and I have 2 of these, and I have them in different brands. So I really love the Temp Guns. I mean, I wonder what mine says. Which is kind of cool. I don't know what it's saying, but I hope it's not 93 because I think I'd be dead. But actually, take a look. She's at 87. not like look like you're gonna bite me? 89 exactly. There's nothing in there. 87. Yeah, love it. It just lets me double check all of my females, make sure my hotspots are working right. All my snakes, not just my females. So, Temp Gun, guys. Must have. Very cheap. They're like 10, 15 bucks. You want a really good one, I think the max is like 30 bucks. Really good buy. I highly, highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. Geek gun, guys. Number 3, records. So, I keep records on pretty much anything. Oh, no, I take that back. Not on everything. I don't really keep records on like sheds and feeding, except when they're hatchlings. That's the only time I really keep that record. Other than that, you know my system. If you haven't seen it on a previous video, I do have a system for feeding, and I'll know how they are within that week. So I'll definitely, because I don't have as many, like I have about 100 snakes, maybe a little bit more. So I will definitely remember which ones don't eat on a regular basis. For the most part, everybody eats on a regular basis. So I don't usually keep records on food, but what I do keep records on, my clutches. This is my old clutch card. Old meaning within the past like 2 weeks, because I ended up upgrading it to this one. It fit me a little bit better. I don't really record anything on like the hatchlings after this is used. I keep everything on their records on their bins, so I don't even bother with this anymore. So that's why I just use it as my breeding card. And another way to keep records, of course, I keep all my clutches up here. So I also keep all my breeding pairs up here too. So I have on this side what hasn't laid yet, what already laid, all my clutches that are due, all my males that were paired, because in the beginning of the season, I'll have them with all of the males, well, technically all of the females, and then I'll put a male to each one. And I'll do backup. So if you ever paid attention in the background of any of my videos, you'll definitely see in the earlier videos, I do have them laid out differently. So they'll have like, my pied went with like, I don't know, bamboo. Actually, you can't do that because they're both female. So my pied went with like the double head albino pied or something. And they'll be right here. So I'll put males and females, and that's pretty much it. That's how I'll keep track of that. On top of the clutch cards as well, because I use the clutch cards as I keep them by all of the bins, and it'll just sit in the middle just like that. And every time I pair them, I'll just write the date, the dam, the dame, the sire, the year, and it's really fairly simple, but it's really important to keep these records, especially if in the future you have somebody that's like, hey, is there a possibility this could be in the baby that you sold me? You can go back to your records, you'd be like, yeah. But people do it electronically as well. So I know Mutation Creation does Husbandry Pro. I do it too. I'm still trying to figure out the system. So I'm having because I'm a little bit old school, I'm having a hard time going back from paper to Husbandry Pro. I think Husbandry Pro is better, but I just haven't figured out how to do it yet in my own time. Like, I just need to sit down and actually do it. I pay for it, but I don't use it just yet. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's a process for me. So I just like, I'm set in my ways. I just like my paper for right now. So I will figure out my Husbandry Pro, and then I'll be able to print everything out and everything will be cool. But right now, I love my whiteboard and I love my paper and my clutch cards. And that's how I keep records right now. Yeah. Old school way, but still a good way. Number 2, guys. Tongs. All types of tongs. So one of the biggest things that I use these for, I used in the past, still use it, but I used in the past mostly, was when I was feeding frozen thawed. So these were excellent when I was feeding frozen thawed. As you can see, they all have kind of a different look to them. These, they clamp, they clip together so you can't like drop the rodent. You have a smaller size for smaller rodents. You have bigger tongs for like crickets. These don't lock. I use these almost on a daily basis. These curved ones I use definitely for like my arachnids and stuff, because you have to sometimes just wiggle it a little bit. But one of the biggest things I used for these, like I said, was when I had frozen thawed rodents. But believe it or not, when I'm feeding hatchlings, I will grab the rodent by the tail and I will wiggle it in front of the snake, and they actually tend to grab it sooner, quicker. And I really like that. I mean, I also use these tongs for feeding my bearded dragon, for feeding my skink, pretty much all of my reptiles. I think it's a must-have. I love my tongs and I love different sizes. Obviously, I have a whole bunch of different sizes. They're in the same category to me as hooks, kind of essential. Like I said, they all have a different purpose. Obviously, I'm not going to use a large rodent and use like these. It's not going to work. I would use either these because they lock, or I would use these. So I really love all my different types of tongs. I think it's a must-have. I use them on a daily basis, and all of the different ones, everything has its use. There's a reason why I have all of these, and I think you have to kind of figure it out for yourself which tongs you like the best. It's simple, but it's necessary. So that's why it's number 2. Number 1, probably singly most important. You know what I mean, guys. You know I'm terrible with like talking. Scales. You have to have a scale, guys. That is just a must. That is as basic as it gets. A scale is, I literally use this thing like 3 times a day. Whether I'm on a hatchling, like when they're first born for record keeping, or oh, you're undressing. Like some of my big hatchlings, like I want to see like, oops, sorry, cursed. I really want to see like the difference between one clutch to another. If a baby is 88 grams to 43 grams, which by the way I had this year, kind of cute, but kind of hard to feed. Anyway, even when it comes down to rodents, if you want to see like the difference it takes when your animal eats a rodent and then after, you want to see if like if I'm putting a 200 gram rodent into my snake, what's the difference after it digests? Like I do weird things like that, but something as simple as making sure your animals have the right weight before you breed them. Very, very important. Like extremely important. For me, my males, I love to have between 600 and 800 before I even remotely consider even a little bit breeding them. And my females, I like them to be at least 15 to 1600 grams. So obviously this is too small to have a 1600 gram female on here. So what I actually do is, you could take the bin right off. So this, I use it for hatchlings and for weighing rodents. But when I have big females, I will just put a bin, which I had in my last video, but it was the actual bin on the last top 10 list. Now it's the actual scale. So you put it on there, you zero it out, and then whatever you put in will be weighed. Just curious. 123 grams for that. Just the lid is 123 grams. But very simple, very basic. I love them. I do actually want a bigger scale. Harder for me to find than I thought, but I really, really, really love this scale. It's a great scale. I'll put the link below, and I really think you guys will love this scale. I've had it for the entire time that I have been breeding, which is a 1.5 years now, and really important. That was one of the first purchases next to the Temp Gun, and obviously enclosures and stuff. Like that was like, I don't even know why it wasn't on the last list. Very important, guys. Scale. Always have one. Super important. It is a must-have for the reptile room. Definitely get one. Okay, guys, that's this week's video. Yeah, it was a little bit dull. I think. I don't know. I think it's really good information, and I like to share my experiences and what I think is important to new hobbyists and new breeders. And I hope you guys liked it. Let me know down in the comments if you guys want something similar, another top 5, top 10. I did have a request for how I made this shed, so comment below if you also want a video of the process. I'll sit down and explain the process of exactly how everything went in the shed. And just let me know if you actually want me to do a video like that. Anyway, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment below, hit that notification bell. I'll see you guys next Wednesday. So there is an honorable mention, and I wasn't gonna put this in the video, especially right this second, because one of my snakes, my white snakes, are undressing, but a black light. So these are my diamonds from a previous video, and I just like to make sure, because you know, everybody knows if you end up hatching out an ivory or a bell, you know that some of the genes can be hidden. So this guy just went through its first shed, and you could see the pattern lightly. Because they are diamonds, they're special Russo, and they are gorgeous. So of course, I don't know for sure I know where the parents came from, but I don't know. You never know with white snakes if they have an underlying gene. So just to show you guys, I want to show you guys the pattern underneath. So as you can see, look at the difference that black light does. That's why it's an honorable mention. Because when it comes to trying to figure out genetics in a snake, this can be crucial for identifying. Come here, buddy. So when I end up, like, I have the fire clutch that's due by the end of September. And you won't really know if it's just a regular super fire or not. So a black light is crucial. Like, you really got to figure out if you have any other pattern, any other colors. So I really, really, really love what the black light does to these white snakes. They actually do the same thing for scorpions. So sometimes when I have to find my scorpions in their enclosures, I always bring out the black light just so I can figure out where they are before I end up sticking my hand in there. But look at the head pattern. That is just the coolest thing. Really, really sweet. Look at this guy. She's undressing. What are you doing undressing, little goofball? Get your little butt back in there. Come on. There you go, buddy. So that's why it's an honorable mention, and I'll let this little one undress on her own. So yeah, actually from that clutch, I'll do an update video on that clutch, but it's a 2.5, so that's kind of cool. Female heavy on that clutch. That was your honorable mention. Your honorable mention, because I can't talk today.